Welcome to Childcare Conversations, the podcast where early childhood leaders like you get real-world strategies, honest talk, and a whole lot of support. Whether you're running one center or many, we're here to help you lead with confidence and clarity. This episode is brought to you by Center IQ. If you've ever added a child to a classroom, adjusted staffing, or made a quick schedule change, and then spent the next 2 weeks fixing the ripple effects, you're not alone. Most leaders make decisions and then see what happens. Center IQ's decision intelligence lets you see what happens before you decide. Start your free trial today at centeriq.io. Now, let's get into today's conversation, one we think you're really going to love.
Welcome back to Childcare Conversations, and today we are excited to continue to have real conversations about what you as owners and directors need, want, and how to find things that are a little bit different. So today we are bringing on Tom Melhorn from North Star School Supply. Now, school supplies are something that everybody has, everybody needs, but you don't want a catalog. You don't want to just buy stuff to buy stuff. So one of the things that Childcare Conversations was so excited about partnering with North Star is that they care and they actually want you to have the equipment that you need, not all the stuff on the list, and they work with what you already have. So Tom, tell us a little bit about how you found yourself in the early childcare education space and what your thoughts are about, I'm just going to go with school supplies.
Thanks for having me on, Kate. Really excited to take a deeper dive into this topic. I think that it's an important topic in early childhood, so happy to again be here and be a part of the conversation. How North Star evolved, or how kind of I formed the company, is really because of two things. One, I grew up with a family or around family members that have been in early childhood and teaching and understanding how to utilize and be creative with the items or funds that are available. So how this came about is really understanding the need in the market for furniture, let's say, and being able to stretch a budget as far as possible. So that's really kind of what North Star's pride and joy has been, is really being able to offer everything that you could think of from a high quality perspective that's going to last a lot longer than maybe things that are available from a cost perspective.
I love that you mentioned the high quality, because in addition to the quality piece, a lot of your manufacturers, or most of your manufacturers, are actually US-based manufacturers. And I think that so many owners, directors, we get stuck with a budget and we go, oh, I need to buy all this stuff and this is all I have. And instead of maybe taking a pause and going, well, if that's all you've got in your budget, let's buy a couple of items that are quality that will stick around for the life of your program and becomes a real asset instead of a depreciating asset that you have to toss and, a couple of years and replace. So tell us a little bit about, pick one of your manufacturers. You know which one I love, but pick one of your manufacturers and tell us a little bit about why they're a partner with you, why you use them, and maybe what's different than, I'm not going to have you name other brands or other suppliers, but what might be different and why you've chosen the manufacturers you have.
Yeah, I think that in today's world, especially as business has evolved, choosing a reliable US-based source really comes down to the quality and a cost, right? I think that supporting American manufacturing and community and the communities they serve, it really just kind of brings everything to the forefront from quality and being reliable. So that reliability is having the quality behind the products that they create. And usually what that means is they're going to last a long time. And you're not, so that ROI is there because it's going to last a lifetime. And that's kind of why we want to build relationships that last a lifetime with our clients and with the manufacturers that we support. One of the great companies that we support is FoamCore. They're based in Muskegon, Michigan, and they have I don't know, up and down, they are something that we love to brag about. Their company culture, their go to market strategy. They want to bless others in their community as well as across the US. So they are very giving to internally as well as externally. And, I would be happy to, again, always push manufacturers that have a good heart and a good go to market.
Well, one of the things that we didn't talk about, but I will talk about, is that although a lot of our audience is international, so we have 125 countries, and we do have a pretty strong listenership in Texas. Both North Star and a lot of your vendors are Midwest based. And so folks who've listened know that I grew up in Ohio, that Carrie was born in Michigan. We only let that be a problem one weekend a year. And for the most part, for those of you who don't know, there's a whole Michigan, Ohio thing. So anyway, sometimes listeners will message back and not quite get my joke. So, but in this case, I think that those Midwestern values really do come through, not only in North Star and North Star's relationships, but also your relationships with your vendors and your partners. So you mentioned relationships. You mentioned being with folks for a lifetime. What does that look like from a supply standpoint, or even more, if I'm a director or I'm an owner? What does that mean to you? I'm so used to having, I just place my order and that it is what it is.
Yeah, I think that you have to look beyond that upfront cost, right? I think that it's maybe what you're getting at is maybe that transaction. And, with North Star, it's quite a bit more than a transaction. Sure, we can, go to any website and select a product that we want, or, maybe guess on a product that that we have in our mind, if it will fulfill a need of the center or of the educational value. But, I think that when we think about the buyer journey, I guess we want to take more of a personal approach, right? Where we want to understand the needs, the maybe budget, and instead of, just pushing maybe a pre-built kit or pre-built catalog, I think it's taking more of a personalized approach to understand the needs, the goals, and also kind of bringing them through a buyer journey that's more personalized. So that way, the quality products that we push um, go beyond that upfront cost, as I mentioned, where you're not going to have to be repairing, the product, fixing, I guess, ordering replacements, incurring any sort of shipping delays. And, along the line, I guess, just further downstream, it just really does, increase that expenditure long term.
Yeah. So we were talking, so you've got staff other than just you. So folks might get you, they might get Maria, they might get Alicia, but they're going to get somebody who stays with them from the first phone call. And somebody on your team is there all the way through, literally unboxing and setup, if that's something that the program is looking for and interested in. And that developing that relationship also means that your goal isn't to try to sell them everything at once. Am I right? Like you kind
Right.
of work with what they have, both budget wise and existing materials. So what would be the first step? If somebody reached out, placed a call, they saw your contact information, they said, "Hey, I heard you on the podcast." What would the next step look like?
Yeah, so maybe I'll touch on quick before I jump into that is maybe our services. So when we think of that journey, really where it starts is from concept. So, whatever concept that you may have in that purchasing program, being able to bring that to life and helping, I guess, guide you. So we want to understand that. And maybe what a great place to start would be, jumping on a phone call. And what we would do is perform an assessment. Okay. What do you have in place today? Do we want to follow, those same guidelines, or do we want to create a new experience? And being able to kind of guide you through then the process and how we go to market. And again, we want to provide those lasting products. That way, we get to continue to talk to you, and those projects can be big or small. So really, we take the same approach no matter what your budget is.
All right. So they've grabbed a phone call, you do an assessment. Where do they go from there? Is it just like something that magically shows up? Do they hear from you? Um, tell me a little bit more.
So some other services that we provide. One of our services would be a design service. So Maria is able to put together a classroom layout or even a full school layout. And what that looks like is a 2D, 3D rendering of every component within a classroom. It takes into considering your licensing requirements. And we really want to be able to provide you with the look and feel that you're going to receive when you're in that space. So we can utilize, existing furniture, but we use CET files. But we can input existing furniture and then kind of help provide a better understanding of what the new components in the classroom may look like.
Right. So one of the things that I know, so when folks are listening to this episode, it's, we are talking right dead smack in the middle of summer camp, but every owner, every director right now is, whether they want to admit it or not, starting to think a little bit about fall enrollment. So we have programs all over the country who reach out to us, who talk to us regularly about not having enough butts in the seats. And so a lot of that comes back to, they might even get the people in the door, but they're not closing the deal. And so sometimes, we get a little blind to the fact that maybe our space needs a little bit of a freshen up. Can you guys help programs who are maybe struggling with that first impression piece? How could somebody even think about equipment when it wraps around that tour, that first impression, and really what you're telling that family?
Yeah, I think that through that assessment, if it does, depending on the scope, that's something that, again, we want to build these relationships. So if it does mean, coming out and taking a look at the center to help you drive revenue in that enrollment phase, it's something that we can walk through the center and better understand maybe what small tweaks we could, or additions, let's say, we could provide value in. I think something that comes to mind as, I have a 3 and a 5-year-old, when we're going through different classrooms, is understanding what's something that could brighten up the space or split up various areas within a room. And one of those might be a simple rug or carpet that can brighten up the space, or provide a little more. It can provide a feeling, right, within that space. Another one is, oftentimes when we're going through different centers, something that we see is clutter, right? And when there's clutter, sometimes that just comes across as being unorganized, and simple things that, storage components, where there's so many different varieties of storage pieces or units today, that we can get creative and fulfill, your clutter, or, really aid in that organizational approach within each classroom.
I love that. And I think that's a great thing for owners and directors to think about. And of course, anytime you make room adjustments, we always want to get buy-in from the teachers, because we don't really want to walk into a classroom and change everything and then have the teachers completely frustrated because maybe it doesn't how it works for them. So we've got to come up with that dialogue that is kind of a happy medium. So what presents well to the families, what is useful to the children. I love the fact that you talked about licensing requirements and state minimum standards, because you guys have clients all over the country. Although that you're based in the Midwest, that isn't where your clients are. I know you have clients in Texas. I know you've got clients in Georgia. What are some things that you run into kind of consistently, regardless of what state, that you see as a really big problem that everybody has when it comes to buying their supplies and their equipment?
I think the big problem when buying, I would have to say that, it's just they do what's easy, right?
Mhm.
And what's easy is always going to, um, a large supplier and being able to select and purchasing. Or where we want to provide extra value is being able to point you in the right direction, understanding what exactly maybe you do need, and provide the understanding of the quality behind the different products, helping you understand the lead times when we need to. I think it's just more taking that personalized approach where, sure, anyone in today's, world can go in to understand a catalog. But I think that when we don't, want to um, go through that journey of personalization, I think that we can help um, stretch your budget further. And part of that is jumping on a phone call, or just a small exercise where we can understand your needs and help you save in the long run, the size of the project or the scope is.
I know too many owners and directors that when you say, I'm going to help you save money and maybe even save you time and energy, they should not, they should absolutely be, where's that number?
Right.
Because what I think is great is when having conversations with y'all, you're happy to work with somebody who just needs a rug. It doesn't have to be a full brand new school. It doesn't have to be a whole refresh, which are things you do. You work
Hmm.
with franchisees, you work with franchisors. So you work on full school scopes, you work on, I got a little bit going on, or, I want to test you out and see if you're really as good as Kate and Carrie say you are. So I'm going to buy one thing from you. And
Yeah.
maybe that's where you start. And so I think the fact that there is no project that's too small, there's no project that's too big. And that for the most part, you're not going to just take a list. You're going to talk through that list, talk through, because the list may have twice as much stuff on it as your actual space is truly licensed for in your state. And I
Mhm.
think that was one of the examples y'all gave me was a client who went to go buy, they're like, I need to buy this because this is what they're telling me I need to buy, but yet their space wouldn't have allowed for all that equipment and all those materials. And so, yeah, they could have spent the extra 10 grand. And I'm sure most businesses would be perfectly happy to let them spend that other 10, but you didn't. You stopped them and basically had a conversation about, you don't have this many rooms or you don't have this much space. So why do you need this many materials for that age group? And I think that that is something that any of us, if we were trying to do it ourselves, right? There's a lot of folks on this podcast, I'm sure, that definitely
Mhm.
do the DIY version of supplies and equipment, and they get a catalog from a conference, or they just go online and maybe they buy something from, China, and, it's shipped over and it smells like it and it looks like it and it lasts like it.
Mhm.
And, you're bringing US made supplies, equipment, furniture to early learning leaders, early learning programs all across the country in a way that you hear them, you get them, you know that this is the right thing for them. And if I'm right, you guys have a vested interest, right? You want to be their lifetime supplier, not just their single product one time
Right. Yeah.
purchase.
I mean, we want to be a trusted resource, right? And I think where you touched is, you know, when maybe the scope is very big, we encourage everyone to go out and maybe get multiple bids. I think that allows us to really showcase um, our value add outside of maybe just throwing you at our catalog, or it really provides the that good Midwest value of being able to pick up the phone and reach us right away. I think that, we want to bounce ideas. We want to be flexible for you. And really, like you're saying, we don't want to, provide or create pre-built kits that, provide no additional value to you. I mean, it's the same look and feel as everyone else, right? There are reasons why you are different. We want to understand them, and we want to, I guess, create shared success amongst that relationship. So
I love that. And I love the fact that the majority of your staff have young children. So you guys are actively in this space. You are spending day to day working with people who are working with children in this age limit or this age group. And the other thing that I think is really, really exciting for those who are listening is that this isn't some massive conglomerate that has 47 different businesses. You are a small company with a small staff, but yet you have a huge reach, you have a huge opportunity. And so if somebody has an issue, they get to talk to the president and CEO, not just, oh, let me pass you along to somebody who might be able to help you. Like, customer service is you. It is Maria. It is your staff. It is your team.
mhm.
And your team is close and your team all know each other, and you guys have worked together in other ventures. And I think that that's exciting. And it should be exciting for the owners and directors who are listening, because you're not going to get that level of customer service anywhere else. So, all right. So what else? You look like you have something you want to say, Tom.
Oh no, I think that
You leaned up. I was like all prepared. I was like, Tom's got some words of wisdom. So
no,
how
I
would
think,
you what do you want to leave folks with as they're listening to this episode?
no, I think that again, what we want to maybe articulate to everyone is that we are a resource, and we are a resource that you can reach out to and have real quality interaction with. Um, I think that again, there's a lot of value behind the personalized touch and the personalized journey towards whatever goals that you may have, and instead of having things so I guess pushed for you to figure out. We would like to, in a sense, handhold you through the journey and provide you with, the Ritz-Carlton type of approach where you have, no matter big or small, these are high quality products that are large, price points, in a larger sense of your budget. So we want to make sure to push the higher quality products, and we want to, as a small company, help stretch your budget further. So that's really our go to market, and what we have, I guess, have a lot of pride doing, and have a lot of success with, the clients that we do serve today.
Absolutely. So if you are sitting here trying to figure out how to navigate your supply budget, or expanding, buying something new, maybe you just want to do a refresh. I'm going to take a little navigation play on the whole North Star thing. And so follow your North Star to a much better equipment map and an equipment experience. And so with that, make sure you go like and subscribe to Childcare Conversations on your podcast player of choice. And we will talk to you in a couple of days.
Like and subscribe.
Thanks for tuning in. We love bringing you real talk and fresh insight from the world of early childhood education. Be sure to follow us on social media to stay connected and catch all of the latest episodes. And if you're planning a conference, training, or special event, Kate and Carrie would love to speak to your audience. You can learn more about their keynote sessions and workshops at kateandcarrie.com. If you learned something today, share the show and leave us a review below. We'll see you next time on Childcare Conversations.